Everyone, welcome to the Silicon Alley Podcast. I'm William Glass, CEO and co-founder of Ostrich, a financial platform that is focused on upskilling your finances through social accountability and group challenges, the same way the fitness industry works in terms of providing that extra accountability and focusing on the emotional side of money. Sign up at getostrich.com to be a part of the beta. And of course, I am your host of the Silicon Alley Podcast. And on today's episode, I'm really excited to share with you a conversation that I had with Sarah Lee. Now, Sarah, I met over in Thailand where I was doing a Fulbright scholarship, and she was part of the Fulbright Thailand portion of the program. And Sarah has a very unique story. Sarah went to school over in Canada and then came back to Thailand, where she then joined the Fulbright program where I met her. From there, she ended up in corporate Thailand, where she was heading a department, but then one day was fired and turned that potentially very bad situation into a great opportunity, where she now is a YouTuber who has built a very successful following, as well as built a coaching business where she's taken her expertise in language and has turned that into a business. So I hope that you enjoy my conversation with Sarah Lee.
You got no time to waste, but still you hesitate. Caught in a circle saying I'll never leave this place. Some words got you searching for the bright side over and over until you're looking on the inside. Yeah. One life, there's a feeling that you can't find, holding a hope and it'll only keep you on the outside.
Sarah, welcome to the Silicon Alley Podcast. I'm super excited to have you on. We go way back. We met in Thailand when I was teaching over there at Fulbright, and Sarah was working with the Fulbright program over in Thailand. And now you're doing some really cool things. So I'm super excited to sit down and talk to you.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Sarah, tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me the kind of overview of who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Sarah. I am a native Thai speaker. So I was born and raised in Bangkok. Until I was 25, I left Bangkok to pursue my master's in Canada, in Vancouver. Not really, it's actually Victoria, but I live mostly in Vancouver. Yeah, because I like the city better. And I moved back to Bangkok in 2013, where I started working for Fulbright Thailand, where I met you. And I left a job at Fulbright Thailand in 2000, let me count, 2017 or 18, yeah. And I moved on to another organization, yeah. And I was actually like looking into doing something on my own for a while, because I didn't really like, full-time job, like 9 to 5 kind of thing. So I was looking for, into options, but I was scared to, start anything of my own. And I enjoyed the security, the stability that I know, a full-time job offers, right, back then. So until 2019, September 2019, I got fired from the job. Yeah. Oof. So I had no choice. Oh, well, I actually had some options to go back to the corporate world. But I just feel like it's probably time for me to do something of my own. Because I feel that sometimes people didn't really appreciate my work and my efforts when I gave, like 100%. Sometimes I think if I do something on my own, even though I fail, at least I learned something of it and kind of like keep moving forward and, trying to be better. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. So what was it like? I mean, you had this nice corporate job, and then all of a sudden to lose it and then make that decision to go into entrepreneurship. What was that like?
Well, it was scary at first because the full-time job paid me really well. I was really feeling comfortable in the bubble for a little while, and when I got fired, it's like my whole world collapsed. And I felt that, okay, at the end of the month, now I had to figure out how I'm going to pay the bills and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The thing is I was pretty lucky because I decided to pursue a lawsuit against them, and we settled for some amount of money, and so I kind of live off that money for a while.
Oh,
At the
wow.
same time, because I also teach, like I teach a lot of stuff. Like I teach Thai, the language, I teach English, and I teach piano. So I'm pretty fortunate that I have these, language and music skills that I can just kind of make money from them for a while.
That's
And I
awesome.
got that. That's the reason I got into YouTube. The How it started was when I was super stressed with the lawsuit, and I decided to just teach for fun on Facebook. So I was teaching English to Thai students, just like enjoying to give back to the community as much as I could. And then one day, I was doing that for 2 months, and one day, one of my Fulbright friends, I think you know her, Net, Siana,
Yeah. I know Ned. Yeah. Yeah.
know her? Yeah. So she said something like, "We want Thai with Sarah too," And I know that she's still learning Thai and stuff, right? So that's how I started teaching Thai, and I call it the same way I call the English teaching. So I call English teaching English with Sarah. So I just changed the word English to Thai with Sarah. So that's was how it started. And there were a few people in my community to kind of request me to teach Thai because they know that I do it for free, right? So
Yeah.
I might as well just do that, both Thai and English. Yeah, and then I got to meet a YouTuber who had like 1 million subscribers, and I was talking to him about how I should do it on YouTube or not, or like sell an online course. It was really funny because I was actually looking into options to do that, and I actually
Okay.
contacted a marketing company, but I don't know, for some reason they turned me down. It's really funny because usually the client gets to turn them down, right? Not the other way around. But I mean, for some reason they said they couldn't work with me. And so I took the opportunity to maybe just get on YouTube first, because
Yeah.
that YouTuber, he said that I might need some exposure, because I was nobody back then. Like no one really know me, right? So maybe it would be better for me to get on YouTube and kind of like exploring what it's like, to monetize on YouTube first. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that you were able to find someone that has had a lot of success on YouTube and help you kind of walk through that. So do you still
Yeah.
keep in contact? Has he kind of helped you guide you through that process of building up your
Yeah.
following?
Yeah. We are friends, and he has been helping me with a lot of stuff about like microphone problem and audio and stuff like that. He gave me like valuable advice, and yeah. But he started off having like maybe like 100 or 1,000 subscribers, and now he's hitting 1.28 million something. Yeah. So
Wow.
he said anything. So I actually talked to him a lot about how I should create content, like which topics that I should create content around. And then he said something like I shouldn't copy my competitors, because I was actually told by some people to watch my competitors' videos and create content around it. Kind of like make yourself to pop up in the suggested video area or section.
Yeah.
But then my YouTuber friend said that I shouldn't do that because that's not me. And people watch me because I'm being me,
Yeah.
He said I can do that for a while, but at some point I'm not gonna enjoy it. And when you don't enjoy, people can see that you not enjoy doing it. So when you do something out of your passion and you do it because you enjoy doing it, people can sense it and can feel it. Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. I think you're spot on, and
Yeah.
that authenticity is so important. And I remember like you're one of the people that within Fulbright Thailand that really stuck out to me because you were authentically yourself all the time. And I loved that about you. So I'm really glad that you got that advice. And, from what I've seen and like watching videos, like it really does feel like I'm with the real Sarah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what my audience said to me as well. That what they see is actually like not religious lessons, but like a reality show somehow to
Yeah,
gonna
it's
get to
great.
see me being myself. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not just educating, because anyone can educate and tell you the basics of language, but what makes it
Mm-hmm.
interesting is you and your story and your perspective and how you tie it in. And like I like the fact that you're very open about the conversations that you're having in real life and bring those in. And
Yeah.
like
Mm.
like especially like the conversations around like dating in Thailand, and like if you're an expat, and like how does that work, because that's something that like you're not going to find that in a textbook, like no one's going to tell you that, but that's what people really want to know in real
uh,
life. And
yeah.
that's awesome. So I really love that you've gone that route.
Is that your favorite video?
That's it's one of them. Yeah, it's up there. I think it's up there. It's a good one.
People love that topic a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I just like the topic picking that you've done. So what was that process? So
Mm-hmm.
you now all of a sudden, need to find another job. You enjoy teaching, and are doing this on Facebook for free. Ned reaches out and says like, "We want Thai with Sarah." So what? How did you go from that to actually
Uh-huh.
starting the YouTube channel and building your brand and business?
Well, from scratch, basically, right? I knew nothing about YouTube and I knew nothing about create content. So if you get to watch my like previous videos, those were like um very basic without music background, nothing. And I still say something like, "Oh, please subscribe, hit the bell icon," stuff like that. Um, just to get people to like subscribe, please. But nowadays, like I don't really say that anymore. Like at the beginning of the video, I just jump into topic, but I still say that at the end or sometimes put caption on. So I knew nothing about it, and I just pretty much apply the method of what's it called in English, like trial and error,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
trial and error method. Yeah, so like I did that, and I just try like which topic people love, or this one like maybe this video is not doing so well. It gets like solo views. Like I'm trying to like kind of analyze the data myself, and I actually have someone to help me with the content, but she's been really busy lately and she's not she's not really involved anymore. But during the first couple 4 or 5 months, yeah, she was with me, and basically we just like met every week, like once a week, and then exchange ideas and all that. But she didn't
Yeah.
want to be on camera, so
Okay.
it was just me talking. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like you just try what works and go from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So have you always been interested in teaching and educating? Because ultimately that's the business, right? Is that you've got these skills,
Yeah.
speak multiple languages, piano. Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, my absolute goal, like back then, I had no idea. I didn't know. I have no directions whatsoever before. I knew for a fact that I just want to, make passive income or get into that somehow, but I still had no idea how to
Hmm.
do that. And then one day before, I think this happened before I got on YouTube, I was actually writing a novel. It's about like dating as well and relationship. It's like a chick lit, fiction kind of thing.
Okay.
And then I got into YouTube, but so that's why I need to put that on hold last year. So I was
Gotcha.
planning to write that, and hopefully it will become an international hit, and that will pay me off later. Yeah. So once everything on YouTube is stable, and once I finish the project in San Francisco, I'm going to San Francisco next month. Once I get everything done, I will get back on track for writing that novel again, to resume writing that, because that's my other passion is to write. Yeah. And
That's
I
awesome.
wrote that in English. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's incredible. That's incredible. So writing a novel as well as building up this business, YouTube business, and
Yeah.
wanting to get that in a place where you've got some good passive income. What
Yeah.
have you always been entrepreneurial in nature, or is that something that was kind of just thrust upon you when you were no longer with the company and you had all this free time? Like, what have you always had that kind of desire and drive?
Um, I actually start to have this entrepreneurial, spirit when I hit maybe 31 or 32,
Okay.
because I felt like this is not fun going to work, make this much money. And although I had, the best time at Fulbright, it was an NGO and I didn't really make much there.
Yeah.
And I feel like I believe in law of attraction and manifestations, and I believe that if I'm actually passionate, about doing something and not worry so much about how money's gonna come, I think at some point or somehow money will come to my life. But this is probably not what I want to do for the rest of my life, like working at Fulbright Thailand. Okay, like I
Sure.
mean, it's
Yeah.
great experience, but I don't own it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel like, okay, I got to do something about it, but how I'm going to do it with my skills that I have. Okay, teaching language, intercultural communication skills, stuff like that. How can I build my business? But still, it's more like active income. I still need to trade, time with money, right? And I have only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I was trying to look into ways to do it, and I got into an MLM business, New Skin. And it was a great experience, but I figured out it wasn't for me.
Sure.
I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it, but at the same time, I learned some business skills. I learned how to, handle with rejections, because people are going to say no all the time, right, for this kind of business, you know. So yeah, that's I think I've learned a lot from MLM business, but at the same time, I felt there's gonna be something else for me. It cannot be just that. That's not the only way to make passive income. And I was kind of like trying to look into options and exploring my options while I still keep a job at Fulbright Thailand, right? And honestly, I had no directions, and I got a little depressed with my life because I didn't enjoy doing it. As much as I enjoy my time with Fulbright, I feel like I could do much more, with my
Sure. Yeah.
skills. And so, like, that's why I was looking for a new job, and then I got a new job again. Everything went well. I really enjoy, heading the department and all that. And I got fired, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's time, to come up with something. So I'm a kind of person who always does more than 100%, right? And sometimes when I do that with like corporate job, they don't think it's a good idea because I do much more than expected, and they're not gonna pay me more.
Yeah.
They're
Exactly.
sometimes they appreciate that, but they're not gonna pay me more, or I'm
Yeah.
not gonna enjoy the benefits of whatever profits that they are entitled, right? So I feel that I'm a kind of person who love to, anything that's challenging. And so doing this on my own is challenging every month. And did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is perfect. Yeah. No, you're
Wait,
spot on.
I'm not sure because I'm like, da 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 da. Okay, so what was the question again? I forgot.
I was just entrepreneurial nature. If it's just something that
Okay,
you've always
yeah,
had.
yes. So I love anything that is challenging. Anything that's like simple, complete a task, no need to figure out or come up with any more solutions anymore. Those bore me a lot. And so, yeah, I think I'm like that all the time. Even with school too. Some subjects that I failed back then was because it was boring and I didn't feel like I enjoyed it. But it was like math or language or art. I enjoyed those subjects a lot. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. And it makes sense. Like having that, you know, desire to own something. And if you're going to work harder, and that's exactly for me, why entrepreneurship I think is so powerful, because if you're going to work harder than someone else, or you're going to give more than 100%, and you're not going to get compensated appropriately for that. Really only entrepreneurship, and, you know, there's a few other careers that will allow you to, you know, see more benefit from the extra effort that you're putting in. So I love that. I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been your experience as a business owner, YouTube creator, content creator, and coach?
Mm-hmm. What's the question again?
What's
how it's been?
Yeah, how's it been? Like, what's your experience been so far?
Well, actually, my public speaking skill back then wasn't that great. I was having this so-called, stage fright, right?
Yeah.
And when I got on Facebook first time teaching, I was shaking, I think. My voice was shaking a little bit. I think I have learned a lot from this because all I had was fears. Fear of making mistakes, fear of embarrassing myself, fear of like maybe mispronounce some word in English and making a fool of myself, you know. But I learned that those mistakes are just nothing. They're pretty trivial. Like no one really cares about it, you know, as long as you like keep on going and all that. So from me, who wasn't being able to like talk on camera at all live, and now I'm just doing it like almost every week, pretty chill. I'm still like nervous here and there, but like compared to like back then, I think I have gone so much, like I have gone so far from like being nervous and can control the situation, can just like keep the show like, you know, going without having to cut it off, like because I did that before on Facebook. It's like, oh my god, I couldn't say anything else, bye, and then I do it again. And now it's like pretty much just like I can just wing it, you know. I improvise all the time, and I love without script, like I can just go out and live stream for my audience and show them more of Thailand and my country, and also teach them some Thai along the way. Yeah.
That's awesome. I really love that. I really love that that growth and being so nervous the first time to now it's you don't even have to necessarily prepare a script if you just generally know what you're going to talk about and be able to have a really good show and conversation with your audience. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what's been the biggest adjustment for you now, having the business, building your YouTube audience and your coaching practice? What's been the biggest adjustment?
From
corporate, from, you know, working the 9 to 5 to now, you know, being in control of your time and
it's
your
like
business.
Self-discipline is very important.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have at all before. Because I consider myself quite lazy when I didn't have schedule planned for me, or when so like full-time jobs were good back then to kind of discipline me. And so when I, you know, came out of the corporate world, I need to self-discipline myself. I need to have self-discipline in order to like, how can I put it? In order to, you know, complete each assignment or task that I plan for the day, right? But at first, when I started YouTube, it was kind of all over the place. I was working pretty much all the time. Like, I didn't rest enough, I didn't sleep enough, I didn't eat enough at all. And just pretty much just full on working. And I posted on YouTube 3 times a week before, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like, you know, shoot, like film, following day, edit. And you do that like alternately. So that makes like 7 days already. I learned a lot to to kind of set aside times for myself for entertainment and to relax and recharge my battery too. At the same time, I think I actually work much harder when I'm on YouTube and do this by myself, even more than I give at any organizations in the past, because I really enjoy doing it. And when I like edit my videos, I usually go over so many times because I know that once the videos are put out there, I cannot change or fix it anymore, and they're gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
They're gonna be part of my passive income. Yeah. So I learned to be less perfect. I mean, like, because I also consider myself perfectionist, and so that's why it takes a lot of time to edit video for me. Some people might, spend less hours, but for me, like one video, especially if it's singing, it could take up to like 50 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because I sing to play piano, and I film explaining the lyrics, captioning, subtitle,
Yeah.
pretty much like it's a lot of work. And I kind of stopped doing the music thing for a while now. So. But it's really worth it because one video, Thai national anthem, was watched by some professor in San Francisco. She's Thai, and that's why I'm going to San Francisco, because she found me and she loved my national anthem video, and that's the reason that she's gonna have me in her project. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. And you're seeing the results of putting in that time and effort to produce such high quality content that you're now going out to San Francisco and have a collaboration. That's huge.
Yeah. And it's like, I didn't expect anything out of it. Not like, even with like YouTube too, like I didn't expect that it will pay off this soon. Because I know at some point I might have an online program or course, right? But when I, like, looking back, now, like when I look back at it, I feel like, oh yeah, I actually gave 100%. I didn't really hope or expect anything to happen anytime soon. I didn't even know if people are gonna love my video or not. I just did it because I love doing that, and I want to make sure that it's like coming out great and the best I could. And now it's how it's paying off. Just awesome. It's amazing. It's like every time people ask me like, why are you doing like so much on YouTube, and I say I just love doing it. And then when they ask me how I make money from it, I said, I don't know. But all I know is when I enjoy doing something, money will come to me somehow. That's what I said to them. And they just laugh at me.
Yeah. But I love that. And it's been only not even 6 months, full 6 months since you really started this?
Yeah, exactly. Like not even 6 months. So
that's incredible. Like you've been able to grow your audience already, and just like where you're headed, the trajectory. It's been fun to watch, and like I feel like you just started, and like it's crazy. So what have you? So I want to go back. You've brought it up a couple times, and I really love this. The kind of law of attraction and manifesting income and things like that. Where does that come from? Have you always felt that way, or is that something that you learned? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I was a negative person. I was pretty pessimistic back then. I grew up in a family where a lot of we had a lot of negativity being discussed in our family, and I'm pretty sure like my mom, my dad didn't really realize about this. Like I actually talked to them about this like recently too, how we can make our life better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By just being positive, right? Yeah, and I think I didn't blame them for that. That's how they grew up, and that's how we, were raised in this society, right? The thing is, I think my mom sent me a video about how negativity can actually, makes us sick and stuff like that. I think that was like maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. I didn't really think anything out of it. I just felt like, how can positivity, cure our health and stuff like that? Like, I didn't buy that. And then later on, I think I saw some maybe advertisements about manifestations, like how you make your life better and all that. And also this MLM business thing, they usually try to get you into law of attraction too, because law of attraction is like huge part of MLM, right? You need to believe, because it's not an easy business.
Yeah.
You need to persist a lot. You need to kind of like not give up. And so like they use a lot of LOA, I call it LOA, law of attraction, LOA techniques and stuff like that. But for me, in the past, maybe I started to get like really serious and read into it, like read a lot about law of attraction in 2017, maybe 16 or 17. And I actually bought a course called Manifestation Miracle. I think it's a good program. It's only like $29. And it was fine, like I took the advice and all that, but it didn't work. It didn't work the way I wanted to work for me. And I kind of like looked deeper into it and kind of like dug deeper, like what was it, that actually like stopped me from growing or from making money. Because for me, I feel like I have a lot of, compared to, I don't know, but a lot of people usually say to me like Sarah, you have a lot of skill, you have a lot going on, a lot to offer. Like they expect that I'm making a lot of money. They assume that I'm making a lot of money, but it's something that I always felt embarrassed to share or to talk about it, because I didn't really make as much as money as people assume that I did,
Yeah.
Because of the skill, like not so many people in Thailand can speak English the way I do, but at the same time I feel like, what am I doing? Why didn't I make that much money yet? I'm already like, let's say I was already like 32, 33, right? And so like I was kind of like beating myself up a little bit, like kind of be hard on myself. And I learned about law of attraction, and it didn't work. And then I was kind of like chill for a little bit, like kind of let go and surrender to the universe. And then one day I got this job at an organization that paid me almost double from what I made at Fulbright Thailand.
Wow.
And then plus 1 month vacation.
That's nice.
Paid vacation too. So it's like, okay, it's kind of working for me, right? And then later I got fired, and I'm like, what's going on? So I study more and more about law of attraction and manifestations. And until like recently, I just feel like, okay, this is it. Like I need to do something, to make more money, because this is scary. Like I was pretty much like month to month, in terms of income. And I needed to borrow some money from my dad too. And I kind of feel bad about it, even though my dad said it was okay. And so I told him like, look, let me finish this book. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna sell it, and it's gonna be an international hit. I knew it. Like I had a feeling. And then I was gonna do that. And then I was kind of dreaming a lot about going to San Francisco, and I actually been telling people that I was going since last year. And I picked San Francisco because that's like one of the destinations that I always want to go. I don't know, for some reason I have been telling people I'm going to San Francisco, like kind of fighting my way to go, either with university visits or whatever, because I was part of the educational consultancy for a bit with my friends. And I was like, I don't know, somehow I'm going to go to San Francisco, either through, university visits, either through agency or whatever. And yeah, and then one day, it was like a month ago, I just got a phone call from this professor, and she asked me what I was doing, like for living. And I said I didn't do much. I just spent a lot of time on YouTube and tried to finish this novel. And then she's like, yeah, how about you do this? Like, so she, extended an invite to join her project, right? Yeah. So that's how awesome. It's like all started. And I was like screaming with joy, because like, oh my God, like really? And it was really fascinating because she said she would, like, she was going to fund everything. So she's paying for my flight, and I wouldn't have to pay anything when I'm in San Francisco. It's like, how could it happen? Like, I didn't even have means to do it at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, and she is very famous in this field, like Thai teaching and learning. And basically, she saw the potential in me, and she believed in me. And yeah, so I mean, for me, I knew that at some point, maybe like 10 years along the road, I would be famous, right? But to be able to join her project, like in this short period of time, actually gives me a lot of opportunity to grow and to get
Yeah.
more and more exposure in a very like maybe like 2 or 3 months after we finished, project together. So that's why I think these things cannot be coincident. It's just me believing in myself more and more every year. It's
Yeah.
like when you have like issues to work on, you kind of have to dig deep into them and kind of like work on them first, right? And
Yeah.
I think it all boils down to self-love too, because I feel like I wasn't worth it. I wasn't enough, right? I'm not talking about relationship stuff, but more like I felt that I didn't deserve to make money. I didn't deserve those, I didn't deserve money. I didn't deserve to be able to live off my fortune, right? Because I feel like, okay, maybe I'm good, maybe I'm like, super good, but at the end of the day, this is how much I made. And I let that define who I am or how
Mhm.
much I can bring to the table. And that's just wrong, right? So I think I started to kind of work on my issues and my insecurity with money. And that's when it started to like pick up and get better.
Yeah.
That's really important, that you need to ask yourself first, like, why do you think you don't deserve to make that much money? Why do you think you cannot make that much money? Is it
Yeah.
because you don't believe in yourself? Is it because you think money is hard to make? It has to involve hard work only. You cannot enjoy doing it. You cannot enjoy making money, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like those questions I ask myself and try to kind of like work on them and like solve them bit by bit.
Hmm.
And then I manifested a trip to San Francisco, and yeah, the best partner I could ever ask for. So yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. I love that story and like the focus on self first and how you were really focused on figuring out how to get sent to San Francisco. And even before you had it figured out, you were telling people, I'm going to San Francisco, I'm going to San Francisco, and being able to manifest that. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what? And this is a conversation that I think will be really interesting, especially since you grew up in the Thai culture, which is
Mm-hmm.
is different than the U.S. There's obviously
Yeah.
similarities in certain
Yeah.
respects, but some of the same things that you described are very similar to the U.S. about a lot of people not feeling like they're only worth the dollar amount on their paycheck, or because they didn't go to a fancy, the fanciest college or an Ivy League school, that they're not worth,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So can you tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about like what it's like in the Thai culture when it comes to money and finances and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For us, money is a way to climb the social status and ladder.
Okay.
Is that your question? How is
Yeah.
reference to Thai culture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think honestly, I feel Thai people don't really care so much about saving up, which I mean, we're supposed to, but they don't really care. I see a lot of people spend money and are afraid of like asking for the price before they pay or something like that. I'm not a kind of person who will be like embarrassed asking how much I have to pay before ordering. Sometimes they don't have the price on the menu, or sometimes they don't really know what the
Yeah.
price is. So I'm not really like embarrassed. I don't feel embarrassed or afraid to ask, right? But Thai people, about this kind of thing, we have this concept called face losing. And so like sometimes Thai people wouldn't dare to ask or be honest about, hey, how much money I have to pay, can you tell me more? They would just whatever pay for it and then think about it later or regret later.
Okay.
About this money thing and saving up, I think not so many people, how can I put it? I think some people probably like think about saving up and stuff like that, but mostly millennials in Thailand, they're pretty comfortable, living with family and all that. And I've seen a lot of them not really caring so much about saving up for the future.
Mhm.
I think for you guys, right, when you hit maybe 18 or 20, you already move out, yeah?
Yeah,
Or
college or after college. Yeah, usually most people want to move out, move on their own. It's like yeah.
yeah, I think in like non-American culture, you guys are trained somehow to be responsible for your own living at some point, right? But in Thai culture, because you're from individualistic, culture, and
Yeah.
that's different from us because we are collectivistic culture
Hmm.
where we help each other, like family helps each other, and that's why sometimes the kids still, living off parents' money and stay with them.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, I feel that non-American culture kind of train you guys to be a little more responsible for your life because for us, it's like at the end of the day, our parents will still support us. I'm not sure about you guys, but like,
I
yeah,
think it depends on the family, but
yeah,
yeah.
depends on the family, right? In
But
terms of
yeah,
money, yeah, money. Yeah, I think it's pretty. For me, what I seen the difference when I was living in Canada, what I seen is like people are not afraid to ask for the price they have to pay. They have to make clear first, or they would be asking about discounts and all that, right? But for us Thai people, I don't know. I feel like we don't talk much about money and stuff.
okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
did,
it's
did I answer your question?
you did.
Not
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
I just want to explore
Okay.
the differences because
Yeah.
for the most part, I mean, I think every guest that I've had has been either from the U.S. or from the U.K. or somewhere, like that has um, similar concepts around money and things like that we've
Mm.
explored. But you know, having lived in Thailand for a year, I understand that it's different, right? Like there's a lot of more communal, as you mentioned, and the
Yeah.
family is much more important to give back to support others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas in the US, for the most part, it's very much like, parents and children, and that's kind of it, maybe grandparents, but it's
Yeah.
different. So I'm just curious because there's definitely, I don't know. I didn't grow up in the Thai culture and don't know what
Mm.
that's like.
Yeah, and it's very interesting for the concept of dowry too, because you guys don't have that in your culture.
Yeah.
And it's like it's being controversial. And I already covered this topic in my one of the videos. And yeah, I totally understand about how some of you might see it as like buying women as a commodity and all that, right? But like because the money for us is not it's not just money. Money shows stability of a person, and that's as I mentioned earlier about how money can make someone climb up their social ladder and status,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah, like it's like pretty big topic, and um, I was proud to actually be able to explain that concept to the world. Some people still disagree and all that, and I totally understand. And actually had a solution myself for my future husband.
Yeah.
um, I already yeah, cause like my parents actually they don't sweat over dowry much. They even said if we're not gonna have dowry at all, it's totally fine. But I mean, I know that deep down they want some dowry to be presented at the ceremony, right? But I know for a fact that they will return the dowry to us as a money gift to start, our family, which is a really nice thing. I think that's a
Oh,
great
interesting.
concept to have, right? Like, okay, give some money to us and we'll keep it for a day, maybe, because usually the engagement ceremony is like a day before wedding day, right? So, and then they return it to the couple to start a life together. I think that's a nice concept. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people from North America or like Europe or wherever, some of them don't really know that most families now, we return the money to the couple. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's unique and an interesting concept because yeah, it's not common here. So
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
how would you how would you describe your relationship with money? We talked a little bit about it, but if you were to
Yeah.
describe it, how would you describe that?
I'm still working on the field of, spending money because according to manifestations stuff, we're not supposed to feel that we wasting money when we spend money or feel like
Sure.
we're losing money, right? Because if we feel that kind of fear, then it will bring us more of the fear of losing money, and we're gonna end up spending more and more money and not making money, right? So
Yeah.
the way I see money is money comes and goes. Um, it doesn't stay and it doesn't leave me either. It's like you get it and
Mm,
you spend. Like it's not like you losing or you wasting your money. When you spend money, it's like you get something in return. For example, you pay uh, for electricity, you get water, you get hydro, you get to live comfortably in your home, right? So that's how I see it. So nowadays I'm still trying to work on my insecurity with money. Like I'm not saying it's like completely 100% like heal yet. It's like I feel I still have some fear about spending money still, and
yeah.
also I think it's very important to be generous, as in like when I go out, when I go to a restaurant, I tip people. When I go for a massage, I tip people. Before, I didn't tip them because I feel like I don't want to spend. I don't want to give away. Like, why would I have to give another 50 or 100 baht? I was already making less, right?
Yeah.
But once I start to be generous and tip more, money comes to me somehow, like more money, because I didn't act like I'm losing anything, because I feel, I enjoy the gift of giving to other people. And when I do
Sure.
that, money loves me more. Money comes back to me tenfold.
Yeah.
So that's how I believe, right? Every time I feel like, oh my God, I don't want to tip so much. No, no, Sarah, no, 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 no. You can tip so much because money can come to me all the time from unexpected sources. Like that's what I believe. And so my
Yeah.
relationship with money is getting better, and I'm still working on it. And every time that I feel about spending money, wasting money, or losing my money on anything, I would tell myself like, hey, look, you know, look back in the past, how I overcame it, how I manifested the trip, how I manifested this amount of money. If I can do it in the past, if it already happened, why wouldn't it happen again, right? It
Yeah.
can keep happening and happening. Yeah. So it's not really about being super positive about money, but it's more
Hmm.
like I change my perception about how money comes and goes. I mean, there of course there gonna be some moment that I feel like, oh my God, I shouldn't have spent that, and it's totally fine. And that's the thing about law of attraction and manifestation too. Uh, it is when being so hard on yourself, or when you beat yourself up because you feel negative about that,
Yeah.
it's gonna add more of negativity, right?
Sure.
Because when we feel negative about ourselves, we should tell ourselves it's okay. It's okay to feel moody. It's okay to feel angry today. It's okay
Yeah.
to feel negative today. But doesn't mean that, all negativity will come back to our life. It doesn't work that way. As long as we pull ourselves back on
Yeah.
track and be positive again. Yeah, so that's what I believe. Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And,
Yeah.
the fact that like you're more conscious of it, but at the same time, less attached to money, right? You let it flow in and out,
Yeah.
willing, tipping and being generous in your everyday life, and being open to having, income or opportunities come from other sources like San Francisco. So I really like that. It sounds like yeah, you're onto something, I think.
Oh, one more thing about money though. Because I charge a lot for my private lessons, and before I used to feel guilty about it.
Mhm.
Because I charge so high, and I feel like as a teacher, you shouldn't charge so much. Like teaching is something that shouldn't be involving a lot of money. And that's something that I changed because I need to tell myself it's okay. As much as I teach for free on YouTube, I deserve to earn a lot of money from private lessons too. So if
Yeah.
you feel bad or guilty about making money, you're gonna stop making a lot of money. So you have to change that. That's what I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah. It's also about knowing the
Yeah.
value of what you're doing, right? Like when you're
Yeah.
doing coaching, it's different. One-on-one coaching is very
Yeah.
different than, YouTube and
Yeah.
creating
Yeah.
content. So I love that you
Yeah.
know your
Exactly.
worth
Yeah.
and are willing to charge a premium for your time and your
Yeah.
expertise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about future Sarah. When you think about your dreams, goals, aspirations, what are your goals? What are your
Mm.
dreams, and what are you really going after? What does future Sarah look like?
I want to live either in Canada or the States 6 months, and I will live in Thailand for 6 months.
Okay.
Possibly, probably like 1 month in Bangkok, 1 month in Canada, like back and forth like that. Because if I'm gonna be still on YouTube, I also need to make content about Thailand, and it wouldn't be a good idea for me to stay in Canada or the States for 6 months, you know.
Mm,
And
okay.
unless I can do like a bunch of videos for 6 months. But I love live streaming and I love anything that's live. So my plan would be like travel back and forth between the States and Canada, maybe every 2 months or three, I don't know yet. But I have a very positive feelings about this project, like an online course with the professor. And
Sure.
so we're talking about the amount of money that we could make. And after that, I could be anywhere in the world because I mostly teach online anyways. Like I use Zoom as well,
Hmm.
which is my students. And I'm hoping to expand my class to like multiple students, like up to 100, right? We can do that on Zoom.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I can make quite good money as well, and on top of the online course, that's gonna give me passive income. Yeah. So my plan is to travel the world because I haven't done that at all in the past. I was working my ass off all the time, and I when I was in Canada, I didn't even get to ski because I didn't have money or time
Yeah.
to do it.
It's
More
expensive.
like more
Skiing is
of money
expensive.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to explore Canada much, even though I was already there.
Yeah.
And so I kind of regret, but at the same time, it's like, all right, I can do anytime I want. No need to regret about it. Yeah, so that's my plan. I want to travel the world. I want to explore other cultures. I want to talk to people of different cultures. And yeah, I love hearing stories from people, like they're inspiring me as well. And I love to inspire students here in Thailand.
I
I
love that.
love to yeah, I love to tell them don't give up. Everything is part of learning curve. And one day, I really want to be like the trainer of trainers, like coaching teachers, tutors, like create a better, greater impact in the community because teaching is my passion. and I know I cannot do that alone, you know. So I
Yeah.
really want to like, you know, maybe establish a foundation or community and, you know, encourage people to volunteer. Because at the end of the day, my absolute goal is to volunteer full time. Like, and
Okay.
people said like, yeah, I did that before. I actually did that, but not full time with my ministries. I'm a Christian. I was super religious before, so I was involved in a lot of ministries before, and I taught a lot for free. And then I asked myself, like, why am I doing this? I need to take care of myself first, right? And so right now I'm doing it, but still, I mean, I still volunteer here and there. And yeah, I always tell people, don't wait for volunteer. Like, you don't need to be super ready financially before you can volunteer. But at the same time, don't do that to torture yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself, and then you can volunteer for fun, for passion or whatever, but make sure that you're financially stable as well. Don't volunteer for everything. Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, you can still give back, but yeah, make sure you take care of yourself too. That's important.
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself, your family, and you got to do what you got to do first. You know, you can help bit by bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So traveling, and that's awesome. Is there anywhere specific that you want to go? You went to Canada and explore,
I want to ski so much. I want to ski. I want to snowboard. And I love hiking. I love nature. I love mountains. I love beaches. So I cannot really be in Bangkok like forever because it's boring here for me. You know, there's a lot of traffic. The nightlife's good, but I mean, I'm kind of too old for that now.
No, you're good. But I got you. Yeah, you want to do other things. You want to be in the outdoors, and it's hard to do that in a big city.
I love outdoor activities. Yeah, totally.
Cool. So what advice would you give to someone who wanted to follow in your footsteps?
I think each people has, you know, their own approach and techniques, right? How to, you know, get around that. But my piece of advice would be explore all of your options. What do you like doing the most? What do you enjoy doing? And if you enjoy doing something, just do it. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Because I was a kind of person who procrastinates a lot, and I never got anything done or started anything. I'm also a perfectionist, so when I started doing YouTube, it was really hard for me to finish one video. And it was because of that, that's why it stopped me from being on YouTube maybe a month earlier, because I feel like I was scared of not perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And so I usually tell people, like, if you want to do something, don't wait until you need to make it perfect, or you know for sure it's going to be perfect. Just do it. Yeah. That's why my very first videos were like without music, nothing, you know, stuff like that. So you gotta do it. You gotta start somehow, right? And people are like, okay, I'll do it later. It's like, no, just do it now. It doesn't have to be perfect. And when you learn from your mistakes, it's priceless, because it's your own mistakes that people cannot teach you. It's your own lessons. And everyone has their own unique lessons, right? So, I mean, we can learn from other people, but wouldn't it be better if we can learn from ourselves? And don't be so hard on yourself. Just gradually pacing with your own, you know, tempo. And I think learning by yourself and listening to people who are successful at the things that you want to achieve, that's probably that's not advice for me. Like, learn from them. At the same time, you need to kind of adapt those techniques and experiences from them, because every of us has different unique like qualities and traits and experience.
I love that. Yeah, it's great advice. And I think you hit on some really important things around, you know, just do it. Like, why wait? And you've just got to start. And I love pay attention to the people that are doing it well and follow their footsteps, see what they do. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and also like about money thing, I totally understand when you first start. You might be a little scared of, so you don't need to quit a full-time job, or maybe you can, find a way to make like a stable income and do it as a side project or something, right? But for me, I had no choice. So I just started it, and yeah. But the thing is, when you enjoy doing something, money will come your way. And if you're worried about how money is going to come, then you're going to spend time worrying about how money is going to come instead of giving it all to what you're doing. Yeah. So I never worry about money for like 3-4 months. I was like, whatever. Okay, I'm broke. I acknowledge that. But I don't care. Like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool. No.
But it takes time. It takes time and practice to reach that point. And everyone has different timelines. So you need to don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up just because you fail sometimes. Keep going, keep going and love yourself a lot.
I love that. Yeah. That's important.
See your worth. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So I've got a few more wrap-up questions, and
definitely.
What's the best investment you've ever made?
Best investment? My time for YouTube, I guess.
There you go.
You mean you're talking about money or time?
It's however you interpret it. Yeah, and however you interpret it. I would say most of the responses from guests are... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I would say YouTube because it's probably the first project that I ever completed so far, because I'm a kind of person who loves initiating projects, and I could never finish any of them.
Okay.
That's why it's it's good for me to head a department. I can come up with projects and all that. I can just let people do them, and like that. Yeah. And so YouTube is actually the very first project that I got to keep on going and treat it like my own business. Because I did consultancy last year too, but it didn't work well, and I just kind of gave up. Mm-hmm. I just had these ideas a lot, work on a website. I know the basics of, building a website too. So I built a lot of websites last year, but I just ditched them all. Right now I'm just YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. So getting YouTube, that's why I said it's good to explore your options. You have to learn about them and get to experience all of them first before you're making, a decision which way or which, direction you're going to go for. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I think YouTube is the best investment because it's because that one video, was watched by someone, and she was the person who's gonna change my life. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Answer.
Yeah.
What would you say the best and the worst part of entrepreneurship is? What are best and worst?
Best and worst?
Yes.
Best is you are your own boss. You get to design your own life. You get to design your own work, content. You get to say that this is yours, right? Because when I was doing, an MLM business back then, I was told by my upline people that, okay, so treat it like your own business, but I didn't feel that it was, but when you get to do something of your own for real, it's you're proud of it. You're really, really proud of it, that this is your baby and you cannot just leave it, so that's the best part. I think you learn so much from it. Yeah, I think. And the worst part is the instability about finances.
Okay.
And if you're a lazy person, it's kind of hard to force yourself to get through the day and to get some work done.
Yeah.
And that was me before, but I learned from it anyways. Yeah, the worst part would be, you don't get this comfortableness of getting money at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And maybe like you need to set aside some benefits for like some money for medical benefits too, right? Because when you don't work full time, you need to make sure that you have some money for that as well, or sign up with the program that the government offers. So it's totally different because when I was with Fulbright, I got like a premium grand medical benefits, right?
Yeah.
I could just stay at any private hospitals, So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the worst part, I think. But once you get to the point where you make a lot of money and like super secure financially, then you'll be fine. This worst part gonna be the best part. Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
What is the dumbest money mistake you've made?
That's a good question. Well, kind of dumb, maybe. Not sure if it's the dumbest. So I was investing in affiliate marketing program.
Okay.
I think the company is in Canada, Victoria, Canada, and I was with them for like 3 years. So I paid $299 every year. I was hoping to get some money from Amazon and being affiliate, right? You know what it is, right? Affiliate marketing. Yeah. So yeah, but like I was lazy and I didn't treat it like as my own business, and I was like kind of like, oh, whatever, like, So I kept paying that amount, that fee for like 3 years, but I didn't do anything. But I learned the skills for building websites, and that's about it. And I get some free photos.
Gotcha.
From yeah. So basically that's about it. But I decided to just like end it last year, just like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't want to pay anymore because I kept telling myself I'm gonna pay for another year, and this time I'm gonna keep doing it, right? And I failed for 2 years straight. So I'm like, all right, so I paid for 3 years in total. Because like I remember the end of the first year, I was like, all right, are you gonna do this, Sarah? Okay, let's do it. So I paid again. And then at the end of the second year, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it again. Okay, let's do it. So third year, I'm like, okay, this is it. Yeah, and also I already have YouTube, so
yeah,
one thing
you've
at
got
a time.
Exactly. That makes sense.
So that's like the worst investment. So I pay like how much? Almost $1,000 for nothing. Not really nothing. I got something out of it, but like, it's like part of the education, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got a positive spin on it. You get something out of it, but
yeah. It's like it's part of learning curve. Always, everything I see is part of learning curve. And like I said earlier about money, right? If I see that's something that have wasted, then it's not gonna come back to me. So right now I'm just like, whatever. Yeah.
Yep. You learned that. You learned from that mistake. Now time to focus on YouTube and everything else that you're doing. So cool.
Exactly.
What would you say is the most frivolous way you've spent money in the past?
What does that mean? Frivolous.
So frivolous is it's similar to like wasteful. So like, for example, like, oh, I just decided on a whim to go buy this really fancy microphone that I
impulsive?
didn't need, or like
impulsive?
Kind of, impulsive. Impulsive and like
impulsive.
Just kind of like, ugh, why did I do that? Yeah.
So when did I do that? You mean?
Yeah. Do you have an example? Yeah, an experience or some time that you've done that? Just like a silly impulsive purchase that you kind of are like, oh gosh,
my
why did I do
God, yes. Yeah, for like cosmetic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, for like filler, like Botox.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, I probably needed it, but like I didn't have to do that all at once. I can choose either like Botox first and maybe filler later, but like I kind of like jump into like this, paying for all of that. I mean, the sales girl was pretty good.
Gotcha. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
I usually like couldn't resist. I can't resist the temptation, stuff like this. It's about like beauty appearance,
Yeah.
I usually just give in, like honestly. But every time I'd be like, no, I usually just keep my credit card at home so that I cannot use it.
That's smart. That's smart. I like that.
And like the latest one that I actually like given was the procedure for my scar, because I always have this problem with scar. And I think the salesperson, he was so kind. He was like really cheerful, and I told him, I said I didn't have a budget for it. And when he said you can do an installment for 10 months, like zero interest, and I was like, all right, do it. So so the installment plan is really something that gets me a lot, like all the time, always. Because like if they do like one, lump sum of money, I probably couldn't afford, right? But if
Yeah.
they offer me like 10 months, installment without any interest at all, I'd be like, okay, it's only like $30 a month. That's
Nice. Yeah.
dangerous because it could, I have to tell myself it could add up too. So I need to be careful. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I kind of enjoy, the benefits of like being a
Yeah.
little prettier.
No, you're fine. You're good. Yeah. But I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appearance, beauty, and how
Yeah.
you feel is obviously really important.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of important for me because I'm on YouTube, but
yeah.
I try not to overdo it. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's also important to still look like me,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this next question, I'm going to switch a little bit. It's what's the
Yeah.
biggest challenge facing everyday Americans? But rather than Americans, what's the biggest challenge facing everyday Thais when it comes to finances?
When it comes to finances?
Yeah, when you think about like, yeah, finances specifically for the average Thai person.
Oh, you mean like in general?
In general, yeah, like biggest challenge facing
Hmm.
regular
I think
Thais.
I think the cost of living here is so high compared to the minimum wages or wages in general. It's like
Interesting.
there's a
Okay.
big gap. I think like because like when you go to a restaurant, like I know like one dish costs you like almost $10 now in Thailand,
Hmm.
and it's not even like a nice restaurant, just like normal restaurant. And I think the average people make here, it's about like 20 grand by a month, which is like $600 or something,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. Like, how can you survive,
Yeah.
basically? Yeah, and that's why people tend to have like second, third job, and this MLM business, are doing so well to not really like lure, quoted people in, but like they would offer this dream job or dream opportunity and all that, right?
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people like ask me to like what kind of second job they should do and all that, that's just like unfortunate that like we have this huge gap between, people who are so rich and others who's like just so poor, you know
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because obviously, from an American lens, you come in and you're like, this is, the perception from foreigners is, wow, Thailand's very inexpensive because
Yeah.
they're comparing it to your own cost of living, but you don't think about
Right.
what the cost of living is for everyday Thai people, and then what the
Yeah.
incomes are, and that's really interesting. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's something that draws a lot of tourists to Thailand,
Yeah.
but is actually a
Yeah.
problem in the country, which is really, really interesting.
Right. But if you live in like countryside or rural area, shouldn't be much problem though, because like
Okay.
I'm talking about like pretty much Bangkok or in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then final question, if you were going to go back and give some advice to your 13-year-old self, what advice would you give 13-year-old Sarah?
Wow. It's a tough question. 13 years old. Um, well, I felt, honestly, I love anything about finance and marketing and stuff. 13 years old, I would probably be like, I don't know. It's a tough question. 30, maybe not finance stuff. Because, like, I always regret not taking, like, finance as my major, you know, because I actually, like,
Interesting.
enjoy
Okay.
making money and all that. Yeah, yeah. But, like, if it were 13 years old back then, and probably something else. Maybe about being negative, I think,
Okay.
about how I didn't love myself enough. And I also went through afraid of having bulimia. Okay,
Okay.
so for a little while. So I had bulimia from like that, around that age, like 13, 14, until 20, 25, 26. Yeah,
Wow.
but it was like not severe. Like I didn't make myself throw up or anything, but just like went through the phases of like binging and purging, right? Like I would
Okay.
feel guilty about having food and eating and all that. So if I could turn back time or like give advice to myself back then, I'd be like, it's okay to be fat.
Okay. No, that's
Because
deep.
like, yeah, like it's okay to be fat. It's okay to not look like what the media portrays that you're supposed to look like. You
Yeah.
know, um, you need to be yourself. You need to be confident, and then look how far I've come. You know, like I'm not fat anymore. Sort of.
Don't
Like
worry. Yeah.
because like before, yeah, don't worry because like I was sorry about eating, and now I eat like a cow. Like, I eat a lot. I eat like a horse. I can eat a horse. I can eat everything, and I'm still in shape because thanks to my metabolism. Right, it's getting better even though I'm older. But I work out and I have muscles. So back then I was just scared of eating anything, and
Yeah.
now I don't have time to eat anything, and I don't care so much about food anymore. Yeah, I think when you care so much about something, you kind of obsessed with it, and
Yeah.
you're kind of like, yeah, you kind of when you're obsessed with it, you just don't do well with it. But when you chill and relax, everything's gonna fall into place. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that would be my advice for my 13 years old back then.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Sarah, that's all I've got. Anything else you want to share with the audience?
I think that's it. You asked me everything.
Perfect. Well, where can people find more about you, follow you? How do they connect with you and support what you're doing?
So my YouTube channel is called Thai with Sarah, THAI with, and my name's Sarah, SARAH. And you can follow my Instagram too. It's also Thai with Sarah. I'm also on TikTok. It's
Nice.
Thai with Sarah as well. Yeah. And yeah, everything is Thai with Sarah. And I'm building my own website. It's called thaiwithsarah.com.
Perfect. I love
Yeah,
it. I
that's
love
that's
it.
my brand. That's my brand. I'm actually on Twitter too, but I haven't posted anything, and it's also Thai with Sarah.
Hey, there you go. You got it. You're on all the major platforms, Ty with
Yeah,
Sarah.
yeah,
Well,
and
awesome.
LinkedIn also Thai with Sarah.
Perfect. There you go. Got the
Yeah, cover them
consistency.
all. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Sarah, thank you so
So
much. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we could make this work, and thank you for staying up late. I know it's late in Bangkok right now, so I really
yeah, it's okay.
appreciate
I'm a night owl.
it.
Yeah, really, really, really glad to be here with you as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. So that concludes today's episode of the Silicon Alley podcast. As you can tell, Sarah is doing a lot of really great things and been able to build an audience super quickly on YouTube and is already seeing a ton of success between that and her coaching business where she charges top dollar to work with her. And as you can tell, she's really focused on the mindset and manifestation specifically and seeing what it is she wants to achieve and then figuring out a way to create that. So I really like Sarah's perspective and loved the juxtaposition as well as the similarities that exist in entrepreneurship, whether you are in Thailand or in the US or somewhere else overseas. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of the Silicon Alley podcast. Please share the podcast with others that you think would get value. And that concludes our episode. So I'm William Glass, CEO and co-founder of Ostrich, getostrich.com. Sign up for the beta. And of course, your host of the Silicon Alley podcast. Thank you so much for being a listener. It means the world to me. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day.
You got no time to waste, but still you hesitate. Caught in a circle saying, I'll never leave this place. Some words got you searching for the bright side over and over until you're looking on the inside. Yeah. One life, there's a feeling that you can't find, holding a hole and only keep you on the outside.
Special thanks to Brett Miller for providing his song Million Voices as the theme music to this podcast. Special thanks to Carolina Gankars for help directing. And thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions for future episodes or future guests to appear on the Silicon Alley podcast, follow us on social media and shoot us a message at Silicon Alley Podcast on all the socials. Twitter, it's at Silicon Alley Pod. Thanks so much for listening. This is a Financial Glass production. New episodes every Friday.